Oh, hey there. Hello again. We're back at it, aren't we? Howi Spangler here. So I want to talk about why I started a band. What was it that drew me to it? I don't get to talk about it too often, so why don't I document it for myself and my children and my wife for later on. My parents were very into music. My dad was actually in a band when he was in high school. He was in a bunch of bands, and I remember when I was just a little tiny ass kid, 3 or 4 years old, I vaguely remember seeing my dad jamming with some friends in the basement. My dad played drums, and I remember being in the room with these three guys. It was my dad, and then he had a bass player and a guitar player slash singer. They were just a three-piece. They were heavy metal back then. You would consider it just rock now, but they were called the Stranger Band. They were from Aberdeen, Maryland, and they played some gigs and stuff. I was at one of their practices, at least one, and I'm sure my dad hated it. My mom probably stuck me there so she could go do something. I remember they were smoking cigs, drinking beers. It was the 80s. It's a different time, and I'm just sitting there watching, and I remember thinking how cool it was to be in this room with these guys, just watching them play and then watching them vibe off each other and goofing off, having fun. They look like they're having a really good time. So that was kind of my first little taste of just like, that's pretty cool, And then my dad made sure to buy gear for us. Like, there was always musical instruments around. We always had like drums or like a guitar or just random things. I remember getting that Casio keyboard from the 80s. We had that thing. I remember messing around with that. But then when I was 6 years old, my dad took my brother and I to go see Rat and Poison. My mom came too. We saw Rat and Poison at the Capitol Center in DC. I knew all the songs by then. I was a big fan of Rat and Motley Crue and Poison. Went to the show, and I remember vaguely being up in the crowd at the arena and just seeing like the big stage and the lights. And I mean, there's probably, I don't know how many, 10,000 people, I remember Poison coming out and just like having a blast. Bret Michaels is on stage. He's like laying down, humping the stage. There's smoke, there's lights. I'm just thinking how cool that was. And then it was time for Rat to come out. The lights go down, everybody freaks out. You get chills talking about it. Boom, here they come. The band comes out. There's Bobby Blotzer, there's Warren DeMartini, there's Juan Crucier, there's Robin. It was just like, this is so sick. And then like about a minute or so into the jam, here comes Stephen Pearcy and I was like, oh my God, it's Stephen Pearcy. I was 6 years old, man. It was just the coolest thing. I witnessed this. I felt this for the first time, a live concert. I felt the boom on my chest. I felt that exhilaration, I knew every word to the songs. It was crazy. There were people like throwing, balloons around and stuff. And I remember somebody blew up a rubber glove and was throwing that around. Just a wild time. Just concerts in the 80s, man. I wish I had a better recollection, but so that was awesome. And then the next year they took us to see Def Leppard. Incredible. Def Leppard was just such a great band, man. It was on the Hysteria tour. Just an amazing band. I like to think that I saw those bands like in their prime, you know what I mean? And Def Leppard had just really exploded with Hysteria. Not long after that, we went and saw Rat again on the Reach for the Sky tour. I remember they opened up with City to City, and again, it was just the same thing. There's this big blocky looking stage, real 80s, just real gaudy looking blocky stage. I think Tesla and Kix opened for him that night. And Kix is actually a Maryland band. Thought that was cool. And I remember arguing with my mom when Blow My Fuse came on the radio, saying it was Motley Crue. I said, Mom, the new Motley Crue song's out. And she says, no, that's Kix. It's a new song, Kix. And I was like, no, it's Motley Crue. And she's like, all right, you'll see. And I remember, it might have been the night of the show. Yeah, because she's like, you'll see tonight. I bet you'll see tonight. And sure enough, Kix played Blow My Fuse. Like, oh, it is a Kix song. Okay, whatever. So that was just a little side note. But I just remember having a great time at these shows, man. Just everything, the lights, the smoke, the big stage, the huge crowd, everybody roaring and singing along, and just like the whole thing just made me happy. I was like, whoa, this is sick. So my brother and I, we would have these concerts in our bedroom. we would put on shows for our stuffed animals. I remember he would get like 2 pencils and he'd sit there and play drums, and then I would get a pencil or a straw or something, whatever was available, something that was shaped like a microphone or whatever, and I would be the singer and I'd be running around the room bouncing all over the place. I was trying to be Stephen Piercy. We would play these cassettes. We would play like Shot at the Devil by Motley Crue, the whole tape, front to back. Rat was that Rat record. It was like the first one had Sweet Cheater on it, and You Think You're Tough, and so many good songs. So we put on these shows, in the bedroom. And I remember when Reach for the Sky came out, I came home from school that day, and my dad was playing it on the cassette player. We had a cassette player in the living room. I was like, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, it's the new Rat. It just came out." I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome." So when he was done listening, he said, "Here, take it." He let me take the tape back to my room, and I played it and learned all the words. I had this little nylon acoustic guitar that I got for my 5th birthday, and I still have it. It's here somewhere in storage. I was trying to learn how to play the songs on this guitar, but I had no idea, no concept of how to play this thing or how to make a note or anything. I mean, to tune it even, just nothing. I remember getting frustrated because I was trying to play so bad, and my dad was like, don't get frustrated. And they had tried to get me lessons, but I didn't take to it very well. I just want to rock out, whatever. That's what my dad told me. I knew that one day I was like, I want to be in a band someday. I want to be a rock star. I wanted all that. I wanted to be on stage playing songs that I had written for big crowds with lights and the big sound and, just having the time of my life. I wanted that. So, years go by. I still loved music, and I hit this R&B phase where I just really loved Boyz II Men and Bobby Brown and Shanice and TLC, Mary J. There was just I was listening to 92Q, which is the big hip hop station here in the Baltimore area. Listening to that when I was a kid. Just in '91, something happened. Nirvana came out, and my brother really took to Nirvana almost immediately, and I was still lingering in my R&B phase. And I remember I was kind of getting out of my love for Rat and Motley Crue. I still love those bands today, but as a kid at that point I was like, okay, maybe that's over, and I liked this stuff, and I really didn't pay much attention to Nirvana. And fast forward a couple more years, we're at school, and this kid I knew, a friend from school, passed me in the hallway. He's like, "Hey, have you heard that new Green Day song? It's called Longview." And I was like, "Nah, I don't know what that is." And he's like, "Hey, you should check it out." I don't know if I did. And then Kurt Cobain died, and then I started paying attention to Nirvana. That's just how it always is with me. Same thing with Sublime. Brad died, and then I was like, oh, I really like Sublime, but it was after he died. So Kurt passes away. I started paying attention more to grunge and Nirvana and more rock stuff again. Basket Case comes out. Green Day just blew me away. I was like, whoa, what is this, man? And to this day, I'm still a diehard. I love Green Day, man. Love Green Day. And I mean, I got the Billy Joe copy in the back there. From that point is when I was just like, all right, I want to be in a band now. I really want to be in a band now. So naturally, my brother and I, we both felt like that. So he took on the drums. I wanted to play guitar and sing like Billy Joe Armstrong. And we would just jam in the basement. And my mom was so cool about it. We were just loud and obnoxious. But she would just let us jam in the basement a lot. I just remember like having an intense daydream of just being the biggest rock band on the planet. I wanted to sing songs and I wanted people to sing back to us. And it was just like the coolest, in my head, it was the coolest thing ever. I used to draw flyers of, Ballyhoo playing with Green Day or Bush, Silverchair, all the bands of that time, Stone Temple Pilots. Crow soundtrack came out that year in '94. It was just like, it was crazy. I started writing songs. I was writing a lot of like love songs about girls I had crushes on at school. And it was the summer after 9th grade, 1995. We really became a unit. We found a guy at school to play bass, and that was it. So we formed in the summer of '95. Came back for that 10th grade year. We played our first show on March 1st, 1996. Everything had built up to that point. Everything that we had done, all the concerts as little kids, all the jamming in the bedroom to the stuffed animals, all those things, man. It all built up to that one moment where we finally walk on stage. I remember we rehearsed for 8 months leading up to this show, this first show, and it was at our high school. I remember being very nervous. I made this flyer for it, and all these kids were there. Everyone's got chain wallets and flannels. It was 90s as fuck, bro. We opened up with a Green Day song, Armitage Shanks from Insomniacs, like my favorite Green Day song. 30 seconds in, dude, I just knew that I wanted to do this forever. I was like, this is exactly the feeling I got from finally having people. They weren't even. We only played a few of the songs that I had written, and we played a bunch of covers. But just having people sing the words back, even though they weren't our songs, just having that feel. Oh man, it was such a good feeling. I've been chasing that feeling since then for nearly 30 years now. That feeling of the first time I played on stage. I don't know if I'll ever get there, because you get older and jaded and stuff, and I still get excited to play, but like, man, that first time, everybody wants to feel that first time again. We played for like an hour and 40 minutes, our first show ever, because we just kept playing whatever we thought we knew, parts of songs, whatever. We would just squeak them out. We would just, we just work it out, and we would just play, man. It was the best night of my life at that point, and I remember thinking, like, when's the next one? So that was a Friday night, and then we came back to school Monday, and people were like, yo, that was so sick, so fun, just getting that validation from some of the kids at school, that next week. It was rad, man. Then we played, I think it was our second gig, we did a friend's party in Aberdeen. It was like her birthday party, and we all played. We played at her house, and a bunch of kids came over, and we just had a good time. I remember getting home super late. We got home at 1 a.m, and my mom was freaking out, and her fiance at the time, he was so pissed, because there were no cell phones back then, and we didn't even try to call home or anything. We were just having such a good time, and oh my god, we got home at 1 a.m. Yeah, we were in trouble for a little bit, but then we did the high school talent show in April of '96. We killed it, man, and I hope I still have that performance. I have all these tapes of our first shows and stuff, of the early days, but that one tape seems to be missing. I don't know where it is, but I really hope that I can find that and post it someday. But I remember having issues with this amp, and like, they opened the curtain and I still wasn't ready, and it was just like, all right, and I'm like hitting it or whatever, trying to get it working, and it felt like the whole school was there. It was a packed auditorium. I didn't know how to turn the distortion on or something like that. I think I just found the gain knob and cranked it up, because it wasn't my amp. Just ripped an E chord, and the song started in E. And the song was very similar to, like, it was basically a Green Day song. It was a rip off of a Green Day song. It was a song that we had written, but it was a total Green Day rip. We just went into it, and we were so good. Like, we were so tight. We'd practiced so much. We were just so put together for a high school band, and we just did it, And I remember looking out and just seeing friends from different classes and, teachers and stuff, and just like, this is so cool, man. Like, it was exciting. Like, oh, I want more of this, And again, we destroyed, you know what I mean? We didn't win, but I didn't care. I didn't care about winning. It was just like, it was the best night of my life. Just we got to play one song, and, then we did it again in '97. And same thing, just ripped it, and we were even better than the last time. We'd been playing a couple years. It was really the time of my life at that time. And my mom died in '96, so it was only a couple months after those first shows. At that point, I needed the band. I needed the music. I needed to express myself. I was very sad a lot. I was depressed all the time. And music was just the thing that held me together, Just ever since then, it's something that connects me back. Even today, it connects me, those teenage years, and even the childhood of wanting to do this, and seeing those bands for the first time. Thinking about walking on stage the first time, and to all the things I've done since then. Played for lots and lots of people. We've put out so much music. We've done so many things. It's been very hard at times. It's been so hard that the band was gonna break up. You know what I mean? Like, the band was almost ended probably a couple times. Definitely a couple years ago. There's money problems. You can't find crew guys to bring on the road with you. You can't find bands to tour with you. You wait last minute to book a tour. You forget things all the time. Things go wrong. The band catches on fire. That's a whole different video. You get held up at the checkpoint coming back from Canada back into the States. You get held up in El Paso at the border checkpoint there. Like, I've done so many things because of this band, for better or for worse. I met my wife because of this band. It's just definitely the greatest thing that I've ever done. The greatest decision I've ever made. Again, for better or for worse. But it's put me in some dark places because of just the nature of the business. But it's also taken me to some really high places. And some things that I can't imagine ever doing, without having started this band. And I'm just grateful to still be able to do it. I know so many bands that gave up, quit, whatever, it just wasn't working out. I feel like a lot of them didn't try hard enough. I feel like they just maybe didn't know what to do, know how to take it further. But for whatever reason, man, I've always had this naive faith or something, naive belief that we were gonna fucking make it someday, and we just gotta keep going. I believed in it too much to stop. I always felt like if I stopped now, it would be too soon, because it's right there. The thing we're going for is right there. Everybody's version of success is different. There's no one way to do something. There's a million ways to do something. There's a million ways things can go wrong, a million ways things can go right. And I've just always stuck with it. I just love it. And the idea of not having it scares me. I wanted to play on SNL. I wanted to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. I wanted to play with my idols. I wanted to hear myself on a CD. CD, remember CDs? I wanted to hear myself on the radio, and I have. We've had some really great successes. We've had some really insane, intense losses. It's part of the game, man. It really is. And I didn't know what I was signing up for. I had no idea what was going to happen, but I was ready for anything. I was ready for all of it. I was just ready to get out there and do it, man. So if you're thinking about starting a band or a solo project or anything, honestly, anything great, anything outside the norm, just fucking do it. Because what else you got? What are you going to lose? You think life is short, and it is, but there really is so much time to really try to pursue the dream that you're going for, to live the life that you want. And that's all I've been doing, man. I'm so grateful to be able to still play music and do things based around the music, whether that's like talk about it on my podcast or my YouTube videos, or make records with other bands, or play my own solo gigs, feed my family and buy them Christmas presents, and live in a house, like pay a mortgage. Like, I get to do that because of music and art and creativity. And I just had no idea that it really could ever be like this. You think back then when I was a kid, it was like, I'm gonna be rich and I'm gonna be famous as fuck, and I'm gonna have a hot wife. I did get the hot wife. Fame? Questionable. Rich? Not even close. But it's all part of this fucking crazy, weird ass journey. This path is not for the faint-hearted. It is not for the weak. If you're scared of not making money, this is not the thing you want to be doing. I'll tell you that much. That's why I started the band, man. I wanted to do something great. I wanted to do what I saw my idols doing. I wanted all that. And honestly, I got a lot of great things out of it. And I think it's just rad as fuck that I can talk about it with you guys here today. Anyway, if you guys like that story and you want to hear more stuff like this, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you smash the like button. Turn on notifications so you know when I upload or go live. Let me know what else I should be talking about. I have been through a lot in the last nearly 30 years of this career. I got plenty of stories, so let me know. Anyway, make sure you grab tickets for the Ballyhoo shows in November. We're in the Midwest. Tickets are at ballyhoorocks.com. If you're new here, check out my band. You might like it. See you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.